Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's Fern. Thank you so much for joining me for another Planty video. Today we are spilling some tea, but not my tea, your tea. I asked on my Instagram for you to send me in your Planty confessions, any like hot takes you have or like controversial things that you've done, which I love. Controversial things are like my jam. Like I love anything that can be debated. I love hearing just like different thoughts. So I'm excited to go through these. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in a response. I have so many, so I'm definitely not going to be able to go through them all today, but we are going to read out a handful of them and I'm just going to like chat about them a little bit. Yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't like thoroughly gone through them yet, so I'm really excited to just like go through them and read what y'all have to say. I love doing these interactive type of videos, and if you want to join in on the next one, make sure you're following me on Instagram at _awildfern. But without further ado, oh, also I'm wearing my house coat. I'm just like, we're just chilling right now. Wearing this tube to compress my hair too, because we're definitely entering coconut head stage. Also using my mic, which I bought last year and I've literally used like 3 times since then. So we're gonna see how this audio quality is. Hopefully it's all right. I just haven't really been loving the audio on my videos lately, even though this is like the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's fine. Okay, like I said, there's so many. I'm just gonna scroll through and we will read some out. Okay, so the first one I'm seeing is left a plant outside to freeze because it had mealybugs. This is funny because I've literally done this exact same thing. I had a string of pearls like way back in the day. Well, by way back in the day, I mean like 2 or 3 years ago. And it had mealybugs. It's the singular time, the only time I've ever had mealybugs on any of my plants. And I did the Q-tip and alcohol thing to try to get rid of them and it didn't work. And also the mealybugs made my plant so sticky. It was gross. I feel like I don't hear anybody else talk about that it like leaves a sticky residue, or if that was just like a weird thing that happened to my plant. But yeah, it was so sticky, it was gross. And I had heard that mealybugs would die if there was a temperature drop. And this was during like spring or some type of transitional time when the nights were still getting quite cold. So I put my string of pearls outside and yeah, I basically just like neglected it and left it out there and it died because it was cold out still. Honestly, that plant was doing amazing until that happened too. So that kind of sucks, but yeah, that was the only time I've had mealybugs, yum, mealybugs, and yeah, I do not F with them. Okay, the next one, I had gotten a Syngonium confetti with a pot at Home Depot and I thought the price was too much. So I went to Lowe's, got a green Syngonium, switched the plant and took it back with the pot it came with and tags. So I got my Syngonium confetti plant for $6. The people at Home Depot don't check if it's the same plant. They just want a barcode and a receipt. Okay, I mean, times are tough right now. Things are expensive. You gotta save $1 where you can. I usually don't quarantine my plants when I first buy them. Honestly, same. I just don't have the space for it. However, I would probably be more cautious if I just bought a plant from like a random garden center or something. But like the plants that I've recently gotten, I got plants from my friend Natasha in my recent wishlist haul. I got my wishlist plant video. And the plants from Plant Haven Toronto, I didn't quarantine any of those just because they're like from people that I trust, even though people that you trust that are really great plant growers can still have pests. Like that's just the reality of it. I don't know. I just like can't be bothered. And I just figured they would be fine, and they are. So yeah, if anything, they're like coming into the pest zone. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel like a lot of people probably don't do that. It's like, I feel like it's more important when you're really bringing a lot of plants in, but it's always good to spray your plants down and just like, I mean, routinely to spray all of your plants down is just like the best idea. But yeah, I preach these things. Like I'll always tell people you should quarantine your plants, even though I am not always doing that myself. But I just don't have the, like, where would I put plants? I don't know. I just do not have the space to like put them away from other plants. Plants outside of my plant room get neglect, and if they can't make it, sucks for them. I feel like this kind of used to be me when I had a plant room as well. I feel like this is kind of me with my IKEA greenhouse cabinets. Like I feel like I prioritize watering and caring for those plants more than the plants in like my bedroom. It's so, I don't know why that is. It's just like a weird thing. I used to never use potting soil for plants, only used straight peat. Fungus gnats heaven. Oh my gosh, yeah, I bet that'd be so dense. I hate keeping cuttings because they just look messy and add clutter. Blasphemy. No, but I do kind of hear where you're coming from, because if you just have all these glass jars around and everything, it can get a little bit cluttery. Using the water I rinse my period undies to fertilize from time to time. I've definitely heard of that being a thing before. I've never tried it myself, but I've heard great things. I've left candles lit under plants and burned leaves multiple times. Oh my goodness, this reminds me of Sam from Sassy and Succulent. She's always burning candles, and I think that she's burnt some of her plants as well. I've priced things slightly higher before because someone was inexperienced. Oh, here's the real tea coming in hot. Oh my goodness. Today I found some chonky worms outside and decided to put a few in each of my house plants. What? Oh my goodness. Stole a big cutting off the string of hearts at work. Manager noticed it was smaller. I was like, wow, weird. Okay, so obviously I don't like condone stealing, but I will say that I think the whole prop lifting controversy is a little overrated. Like people take it a little too seriously. There's obviously like a broad scale of prop lifting, and some of it's super like stealing from conservatories and botanical gardens and stuff. And then there's stuff like this one. Stole a teeny string of pearls cutting from a cafe during a really hard time. It grew so fast and is now my fave. Like, is that the most criminal thing I've ever heard in my life? Probably not. That, like, you know, I feel like there's a more innocent part of the scale of prop lifting. But people tend to like be really dramatic and demonize the whole thing. Like some people think it's not okay to pick up like succulent leaves that have fallen off onto the floor of a big box store, which to me, it's like literally that's probably going to be swept up and go in the trash if nobody picks it up. So go for it, bestie. There's a lot of them about stealing, actually. I bought a really expensive plant, felt very guilty, so I called my planty friend to split it in half and split the cost in half. I kept the best looking bigger half. I would literally do the exact opposite, only because I can't stand like any type of, confrontation or conflict. Like I will take the shorter end of the stick just to like avoid anything, but I think that's hilarious that you did that. Me and my mom had the same plant and hers looked better than mine, so I switched them. There's a little devil emoji. Oh my gosh, you guys crack me up. I recently sold a cutting that didn't grow for me for 6 months. It looked healthy, but shrug emoji. Oh my gosh, these are the ones that I'm like, this is spicy. Like the one about increasing the prices if it's a newbie, and this one, that's like, I don't know. Okay, there's a couple people saying that they water their plants with bong water. I've literally never heard of this before. Maybe because I'm not a weed smoker, but I mean, if it works, it works. I definitely repot as soon as I get a plant. Hasn't hurt anything yet though. I used to do this too. I'd just be so excited to repot plants when I first got them. I don't think it's as detrimental as people make it out to be. Like, I don't know. I don't think I saw any ill effects from it either. In fact, I think that it can even be beneficial if you're like getting them into a better substrate and getting rid of like, who knows what's in that soil from the store. Like there could be pests, there could be anything, you know? Sold an almost all white albo cutting. I fully disclosed risks though, and it was very cheap. Okay, that sounds fair. That sounds reasonable. I touch my El Choco red leaves with my lips. Just hits different, you know? Oh my gosh, they are very soft. Traded an Oreo wet stick. I was paranoid about coming out all yellow or green. Oh my goodness, there's so many of people like pawning off their like plants that they're not sure about, or like swapping them out for something better. Oh my goodness, cracks me up. Okay, it's like funny, but if you're on the receiving end of that, it's like not that funny. So this is all for fun. This is all lighthearted, right? You guys aren't gonna like get mad about this video, I hope. I give my crushes plants so they hopefully think of me more when they care for them. Oh, it's so cute though. I refuse to get grow lights. If it can't survive in the natural light of my home, then it's not meant to be. Okay, I kind of feel you. If I live somewhere sunny, then I feel like it would be different, but honestly, like my plants would croak for sure, or I'd only be able to have like one shelf of plants per window. But grow lights for sure can be like a pain in the butt, and like, yeah, trying to have a full setup is definitely an investment and changes the vibe of your home a little bit. So I totally get that. Like if I could just all have natural sunlight every single day, that would be amazing. I impulse buy plants with my employee discount and regret sets in, so I sell them for more than the original price. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a lot of tea from you guys who it sounds like you work at plant stores. Oh my goodness. I put rocks at the bottom of my pots sometimes. Guilted my ex-boyfriend into buying me plants when I was broke. Oh my gosh. It's like the Wild West out here. I have always thought I needed to water my plants in the morning, not at night, LOL. I've heard some people think that that's a thing, that it's like not good to water your plants at night, but I don't know if that's actually true. If anybody has any info on that, please share it, because is there anything to that? I mean, in nature, it rains at night as well, so I don't know, but I water mine both. I water some in the mornings. I water in the morning sometimes, and then I water at night sometimes. Accidentally spread pests to my partner's grandma's 65-year-old pothos. It lived, kinda. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's not good. It's not good. There's a lot of people saying that they just like let plants die, like they just get like tired of it, or they just like are frustrated with it, or they just don't like it anymore and they just like let it die. I've definitely done the old pop them on the back porch and just kind of let them fend for themselves, and then they have like a slow demise. I've definitely done that before. Accidentally unalived props my cousin gave me and replaced them so she wouldn't know. Honestly, that's something I would do too, because I would feel too guilty to like tell the person. I remember Shane bought me my philodendron tortum, and it wasn't really something I shared. I think I shared more about when I first got my tortum on my Patreon than on YouTube, honestly, because I felt guilty about like saying that the plant rotted. Like I felt guilty to the shop. Like this is how much I like can't handle confrontation. It's actually not good, but I like didn't want the shop to feel bad that the tortum was rotting. So I don't know, for some reason I just like didn't want to post about it, because I just like felt bad because I liked that shop. So it was rotting, and that plant had been a gift from Shane, and I remember like literally hiding. I did not want him to see that this plant had rotted. It was like one little leaf, and then I had a wet stick growing, and thankfully he just never ended up coming in the plant room and noticing that this like nice plant he had purchased me for, it was like for a birthday gift or something last year. Yeah, he didn't end up noticing that it had croaked, but I remember thinking like, if I can't save this, if this thing fully dies, then I'm gonna find another tortum and I'm gonna replace it and just act like nothing happened, act like that was the one he bought me, because I felt so bad about it, but luckily it survived. And he never noticed it like suddenly became half as big. Brought cuttings back from a Mexican resort, put them in a plastic bag and in a book. Oh my gosh, plant smuggling. Honestly, I would be a nervous wreck. I'd be so stressed if I ever did something like that. Stole a plant from Lowe's with my mom. Oh my gosh. Mom's getting in on the plant theft as well. I just sold a philodendron cream splash that had thrips. I took cuttings for myself. Bestie, you sold a plant with thrips and you didn't disclose it? Oh my gosh. That's bad. That's actually bad. I was spraying my plants with a neem oil mix and realized it was the Lysol bottle. Did the plants, were they okay? Like, I'm curious of what would happen. I've killed asparagus fern 4 times and I won't stop buying them until I figure out their care. Oh my goodness, are they hard to care for? I've always wanted one. I've never had one, but I don't know anything about their care, so it sounds like maybe they're tricky. My grandma thinks her orchid is dormant. I don't have the heart to tell her it is dead. Oh, that's so sad. Never clean scissors before I prop. I don't know how bad that is actually. I always clean them just because I always hear it's important to clean them, so I do always clean them, but I don't actually know like what could happen. I mean, I guess you can risk spreading like some type of disease or fungus or something. I don't really know. You're living on the edge. I think most people repot their plants too much, but I do love repotting videos. I kind of agree with you, and I've definitely been guilty of it. Sometimes I just like want to switch a plant into a different container or want to like change out the substrate or something. But yeah, it's probably best for most plants to wait until they're like pretty root bound to actually repot them. And it's so much more satisfying too. Like I love repotting a plant that's super root bound. That's just like, so good. Sometimes I water my plants with flat LaCroix I've left in my room. What? I bought a reverted Birkin full green and gave it pink food coloring to make it a philodendron pink princess. Is that a thing? Does that work? Let me know. I steal cuttings from big box stores, not nurseries or small stores. I'm not an asshole. See, that's kind of, yeah, I agree. Spent like $500 in 1 month on plants. I've been there too. Okay, so let's just do a couple more. I don't want this video to be like super long, but honestly, I've only gotten to like a quarter of the submissions, maybe even less, maybe like 15% of the submissions that were sent in. So I can definitely do a part 2 if you guys like this type of video, but let's find a couple more. I snag clay, ceramic / nice plastic pots on the curb and sell them. Save from the landfill plus money for me. Honestly, hustle. Amazing. Love it. Philodendron Spiritus Sancti is overrated. I just don't see why it's worth the money. Honestly, I kind of agree with you. I know that it's like a plant that's actually botanically rare. Is that the right term? I don't know. There's like actually, well, at least there used to be. I think that now they're like being tissue cultured or whatever, but they used to be like literally rare. Like there was only a very small number of them like on the planet. Like you couldn't really find them in the wild or anything. So I get why it was worth a lot of money in that aspect. But yeah, I agree. Just looking at it, it doesn't really look like anything special to me either. And I do feel like plant names play a lot into how we perceive plants and how desirable they are. And the name Spiritus Sancti, it just has like such like a mystical, elusive quality to it. So yeah, I think that that like plays into it as well. Really interesting. It's like a psychological thing. I talk to my plants. I find it's another way to connect with them, especially on a Gemini moon. I love that so much. That's amazing. I should talk to my plants more. It's funny because that like triggers a memory for me from being a kid, and my mom would always talk to her plants, and I remember she always told me it was good to talk to them and they would grow better. So I would talk to her plants, but I don't talk to my plants really now in my adulthood, but maybe I should start. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. We will see how this video goes. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you would like to see another one in the future. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who submitted. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about all of these controversies. Yeah, okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!